welcome to Warriors Within, the podcast that amplifies the voices of sickle cell warriors and their families. I am your host, Coco Chanel, here to guide you through the real, raw, and resilient stories of sickle cell warriors and their everyday struggles. I am here with my wonderful guest, DeMitrious Wright, Mr. AKA AR the Prophet. How are you doing, sir?
Well, how are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
So I don't really want to just jumble around much because we are acquainted, but I want you to go ahead and be obviously transparent and tell us, who is AR the Prophet, the sickle cell soldier? They don't know who sickle cell soldier is, so you got to tell them who is the sickle cell soldier.
Man, a fearless fighter against all odds, just coming out on top. Strong, resilient soldier, front line, self-disciplined,
Yeah.
motivated, inspired, student, a student of life, a student of education, and nutrition guru.
I love it. I love it. So you make awareness on sickle cell. What made you actually start wanting to make awareness?
Because during my situations and my time with sickle cell, where I was really battling and struggling, every time I was getting on YouTube or Instagram or social media, I never was able to find the information I was looking for. I was never able to see men that was battling with sickle cell, that was living well, that was talking about their life, that was giving alternatives. So that's what made me want to be the voice.
Yeah, because you are a master of all trades, a artist. Not only do you educate and promote sickle cell awareness, I know about your foundation, Rare Care. Explain a little bit about Rare Care.
Rare Care is a holistic health lifestyle, educating kids, adults, and caregivers on rare diseases such as sickle cell through nutrition and just understanding the importance of living well through self-discipline and what you put inside your body. Yeah, we never had that education growing
Yeah.
up, so just being able to be in the community and help people, plus be the example, so they can see, oh, this is what you're doing. Oh, you're doing smoothies. You drinking this type of tea, taking these type of herbs and vitamins. So just be an example that they could see to live well. That's what rare care is. It's not health care. It's rare care.
Yeah.
You got to do the work yourself. Be your own doctor and dig deep within. And you can live rare. Be
Yeah.
rare. We already rare.
Yeah,
know?
that is true.
Yeah. So just being the best you could be with sickle cell, any rare disease.
So, do you feel like sickle cell influenced you to become the rap artist that you are today?
Yes. Well, I was already rapping when I was real young. So
Okay.
I was a kid rapping, teenager.
Okay. But you also incorporate your journey with your music.
Right.
So elaborate with that
Yeah.
because when I started listening to your music, it hit to the soul.
Thank you.
It's beautiful. And to incorporate the what you go through in the hospital and on your own and then you correlate it into music
Yeah.
it hits different. So how did you end up coming up with the inspiration for that?
I used to write a lot when I was in the hospital. A lot of my times when I used to get admitted into the hospital with a sickle cell crisis, I'd be there in there for weeks. So I did a lot of writing, and that was like my therapy. And it started out as poetry a lot of times, but then I realized that this was like, if I had the right instrumentation, I could really make this shake, make it sound good. So um, just telling what I was going through while I was in a crisis situation, and then also like how I wanted to be when I was well, when I got out of that, when I was discharged, and just putting all that together. That's what really motivated me. I always knew that I had sickle cell, but I always knew that I was going to be sick. So I had to find something that was going to be inspiration and something that could motivate me
Yeah.
because I couldn't see that, like I said, looking on social media and YouTube and all that. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this for me, and if it's able to help me, because I'm a music critic, I
Yeah.
know what good music's supposed to sound like,
Mhm.
and I was like, if I do it and it sounds good and it feels good to me, then I know that the world will feel it the same way. So it's just a blessing that other people can relate to it. But it's definitely my story, and my story is our story. So that's what it is with the music.
So going obviously along with this sickle cell journey, what do you recall was like the most triumph time that you can like reflect back on and you can actually like when you tell your story, you can see that it relays the pain and somebody can understand it.
It's the time where I overcame taking all of those narcotics and the pharmaceuticals that I was on. Just growing up and allowing the doctors to administrate whatever that they felt was going to help me. Um, ended up with me accumulating to have 180 milligrams of narcotics that I was taking every day. So for me to be able to get off of that with no intervention, no rehabilitation, no therapy, no counseling sessions, just willpower, self-will, and a lot of prayer and faith, man, that was a blessing. That was the biggest triumph for me. I went through a lot of cold sweats, a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of detoxing, my body just going through it, breaking down because it was so dependent of chemical and all the narcotics that I was taking. So when I wanted to get off of it and I rid my body of it, it's almost like I starved my body of what it was used to taking. So when I got over that, it took 10 days, a strong 10 days. By the seventh day, it got better. But it was definitely a battle. It was a mind battle. I wanted to go back and was like, just take a piece, just take a little. And like, nah, stay strong. And every day got better. So when I finally came out of that, I realized, man, that was the biggest battle of my life. And that's when I was able to sympathize with people who take medication in the sickle cell community, because there has never been education from the providers and the doctors who are administrating these narcotics to us on how we should really take it.
Yeah.
They never tell us the side effects. They never tell us the long-term effects if we abuse this medication, if we take it on a daily basis, on a regular, what it can do. You know, it develops a dependency.
It does.
When you have a sickness, they call it a dependency. You know, when you don't have no sickness, they call it an addiction.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing, you know? So I realized, I looked in the mirror and was like, dang, man, I'm really addicted to the medicine.
Yeah.
And that's why some of the music, like some of the songs on my sickle cell albums called Dope Sick. Because once I realized that I wasn't sickle cell sick, I was handling my sickle cell well, I realized that I was really dope sick. Now I got to fight this other monster of chemical that's inside me that I can't shake. So, man, that was
that's very inspirational, because it's powerful, because it's true. It's a codependency thing, and it's hard to break. So you make awareness on priapism. Tell me a little bit about that, because you educate the youth, our male youth, on priapism and what they should expect, and a little bit more about that. So elaborate on how you educate with that.
When I was a kid, I never heard of priapism. I never knew what it was until I was faced with it. Like I battled with it. It began coming and going. I was 15 years old, but my provider never talked to me about priapism. Never said nothing about it. So when it hit me, it was just one of those things where I was like uncomfortable about, and I didn't want to tell my parents. You feel me? What I was going through.
Mm-hmm.
So it started getting out of hand. Like it progressively got worse. And I remember one time it was just erect for like 30 plus hours. And that was when I transitioned. I was 15 years old. So that was my transition from 15, from pediatrics to adult care. They just was like, look, you need to see an adult urologist. We don't know what's going on. You need real care for this. And they always wanted to do the surgery on me. So I was just young, and I had all these doctors saying, you need to get this surgery. You could be at risk for erectile dysfunction for your adult life, your young adult life. And I was like, man, I'm young. You mean to tell me I got to get surgery on my most vulnerable area right now in my teenage years?
The most, yes.
Like the most sexually active, trying to figure out what I want in this world. So it's like, when that happened, like I said, goes back to me being in the hospital, battling with it, looking online, never seeing nothing about it, never seeing no post about it. Very little information, even in layman terms, like from doctors, anything about priapism. So I was like, dang. And I just went through it. So I battled and struggled with it for about 13 to 15 years. And I finally decided, because it got progressively out of control, that I needed to have the surgery. So once I had the surgery, I was like, I grabbed my camera because I was fresh from film school. Mm-hmm. And I spent 30 days in the hospital, and I was like, look, man, y'all got to help me. I don't know what's going on, but I know I ain't leaving here until I get this surgery done. And I talked to a lot of urologists. Finally, the urologist came and told me, like, I'll do the surgery for you. But it was a very painful surgery, and I had to have 2 of them because the first one failed. And all of this I'm creating and, filming the whole process and the journey.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, I got to show folks what's going on, because I never seen nothing like this. I know nobody else seen nothing like this. So it was a experiment. It was an experience and an experiment for myself as well, to be able to, film that in that type of time. I was going through pain, but still making a film out of it, trying to show And I realized when I really got healed up, when the surgeries and all that was done, and I was finally back on my feet, I was like, man, I really got to be the voice now, because it's like I got a documentary. So now it's like I got to talk about the documentary.
Yeah.
And you,
Gotta
I'm a
tell
young,
your story.
I'm late 20, well, early 20s. And I'm like,
Wow.
man, so how am I finna articulate this to where people can understand it and I ain't so vulgar about it to where it's an uncomfortable talk. I need to be able to articulate myself in a manner to where it's educational and they want to know more and they're intrigued by it.
Yeah.
So I came up with Save the Mail Trunks. And Save the Mail Trunks, man, has been a blessing to me.
Which is a creative idea.
Thank you so much.
So creative.
Thank you. It comes from my love for elephants and how they were mistreated in the safari.
Yeah.
The indigenous people cutting the trunks off of the elephants and using them as aphrodisiacs. So it's like when you strip the elephant of the trunk, then it's like disable it. It's
Yeah.
its ability to be able to care for its child, to be able to drink on its own, call out, all of these things that the trunk is important for, balance, all of that good
Yeah.
stuff. I looked at that as a metaphor to what I was going through with sickle cell. And it's like
Yeah.
with the male reproductive health, it's like once you start having surgeries and you start messing with the reproductive, then I can't conceive no
Exactly.
more. You know what I'm saying? I can't have kids anymore. All of this different stuff can happen. So I wanted it to be a representation that people could grasp towards, because elephant is a gentle giant. Everybody love elephant.
Everybody love elephants.
You know what I'm saying? So the representation of that is just, that's where it comes from. So Save the Male Trunks is from a sickle cell perspective, male reproductive health, where you could be at risk for having erectile dysfunction, losing your ability to preconceive kids, and all of that. And I wanted to be able to educate and touch on that.
Yeah.
So I know it's been a blessing. I've been able to ship out these care packages that I put together for the past 3 years, and over like 300 boxes have gone out.
That's so
locally,
beautiful.
internationally. So it's been a blessing just to be able to see the response and for people to be getting educated. And it's crazy that the providers of, you know, the illness that we're
Yeah.
living with are not talking about this with young males.
Yeah.
And I feel like, man, I got to be the one to go out into the community, into the public, into the world, and let them know that this is cool, man. This ain't nothing you need to be
Exactly.
ashamed of. You know, own it, live with it. It's a complication of your sickle cell. We don't really have control over our sickle cell,
Yeah.
what it does. There's so many different lanes and avenues to where sickle cell can be a problem for you. And if you don't have that type of education to where you've heard about it, to where you could be proactive on it, it's like, oh, I heard about this. Now let me live accordingly. Let me adjust this way because
Yeah.
I heard it. He did this when he had it. But if you don't have nobody leading by example or saying nothing, it's just like you go through with all these complications of sickle cell throughout your life, and you just feel like, dang, man, I'm the only one that's going through this, man. So I wanted to use my voice and make it echo and be powerful to let them know, listen, don't be ashamed. This ain't nothing to be ashamed of.
Exactly.
Live with it. Find ways that you can live with it to be, you know, well off with yourself. And hey, own it.
Well, you are definitely making an echo. I'm letting you know that. I want you to elaborate before we start closing out. Where can they follow you on platforms? Where can they learn more about Priapism? Where can they learn about rare care? Go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you. Apple Music, YouTube. Let them know what's up.
You can find me everywhere in the world at AR the Prophet, AR the PROPHET. Yeah, God body, foretelling the good news. You hear me? And my website, therarecarefoundation.org, educating on holistic health, well-being for the kids, the adults, and the caregivers on rare diseases, living well through nutrition, and how to feed the cells what they need. You know? So follow me, follow my journey, listen to my music. It's all there. Healing frequencies we put out,
Yes.
streaming on all platforms. Yeah, in the name of sickle cell.
I love it. Trust me. Like I said, I'm a fan. And once we met, already tuned in. So you already in my iTunes playlist.
Thank you so much.
So thank you for joining us on Warriors Within. If you felt inspired, empowered, and educated, please share the episode and follow us on FSCDR.org and to learn more about sickle cell disease. Follow us on all platforms at FSCDR. Until next time, keep fighting, stay resilient, and keep advocating and keep the warrior within.